This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, April 27th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Lots of exciting action in both the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs. Plenty of reaction to the NFL draft. And yes, Major League Baseball ongoing as well, including a weekend series in Mexico City. Mackenzie Rivers joins me here on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mac, we start in the NBA, where last night the Rockets avoided the sweep at the hands of the Lakers. Houston winning 115-96, playing without Kevin Durant once again. And the line in this game was pretty fascinating to watch before the game, because Kevin Durant is announced out. It goes from Rockets laying 4.5 to 5 to then laying only 2.5. But about a half an hour before the game, all the money started coming in on the Houston Rockets, pushing them to a 4.5-point favorite once again. And they were the right side as they go wire to wire, winning 115-96.
One day it's going to happen. One day, and we've seen Game 7s forced. One day some team is going to come back from 3-0. And here's the scenario. They would have to be good enough to be a road favorite versus their opponent. Maybe there's some readjusting, but the Lakers were 5-point dogs at home game one. And with a healthy Kevin Durant, which is a big if, they should be home dogs again. And you would need to have this scenario, or you have more home games than road games for the final three. I think they could do it. I mean, as if Luka's not coming back, we saw Joel Embiid come back, and having a superstar come back is kind of its own complexity. If Austin Reeves isn't there, I don't know. I mean, they are this close. They were up 6 points with 27 seconds left with the ball. If it was 2-2 right now, the Rockets would be significant favorites to win the series. I'm not sure it's that different.
Yeah, I agree as far as saying that they should be 2-2 and they would have been significant favorites, because yes, it's almost unfathomable to think about how they lost that game on Friday, up by 6 with under 30 seconds remaining. Last night was just a great spot for them. I was on the Rockets last night. We cashed that one. We also cashed Reed Shepherd over 3-pointers in that game. The reason why I like the Rockets so much, and I was hesitant, I waited to fire on them because as much as the spot said it's Houston Rockets avoiding the sweep, Houston Rockets avoiding the sweep, Ime Udoka calls out his team, tells them they have to grow up. You're not kids anymore, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, right? I thought they would respond. My one fear, and that's why I waited so long to fire on this game, was because I thought the Lakers might actually sell out to win this game, thinking that if they were able to accomplish the sweep, they would have maximum amount of days off before their second round series, allowing LeBron to rest, allowing Austin Reeves to rest, because Austin Reeves was a game time decision yesterday and he didn't play. So he's getting closer to returning, much more closer than Luka. And I felt that if the Lakers sold out, went full go 100% to try and win the game last night and didn't, well, they have 2 days off instead of 1 day off before game number 5, and all the odds are in their favor. They're very likely to win this series. As you mentioned, no one has come back down 3-0, and only 13 teams ever have come back down 3-1. So that was my pause. But then once I saw the market start to move in favor of the Rockets, I'm like, yeah, Houston's the right side clearly of this game. And it was really a rocking chair winner last night. Looking at the odds for Wednesday's game number 5 in LA, Lakers 2.5-point favorites. I think a couple of things are baked into that spread, Mackenzie. It's the unlikelihood of Kevin Durant playing and the
Yep.
likelihood of Austin Reeves playing for the Lakers. What do you think?
Let's do the arithmetic. So game one, approximately 5.5. Let's call it 5 because there's definitely an adjustment. Minus Kevin Durant, maybe that's 5 points. All right, so that would be a pick 'em. Then plus, we're just assuming 100% here. Plus Austin Reeves.
Mhm.
I think he was better than LeBron this season on balance. So plus 2.5 points isn't crazy. So because it wouldn't be crazy if we knew for 100% fact, no Kevin Durant, yes, Austin Reeves, to have the Lakers as 2.5 point favorites here, I think we can say it's pretty likely.
Okay. Odds to win the series, for those who are interested, with the Lakers having a 3-1 lead, as I mentioned, only 13 teams have ever come back from down 3-1. Lakers minus 850 up on FanDuel, Rockets plus 590 to come back and win. It could happen. I'm not betting it to happen.
It's essentially what the odds were to start the series, where the Lakers were dogs.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's a good point.
minus 750 seems like a lot, but I don't know if I
Mhm.
want. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, elsewhere yesterday, Celtics blow out the Sixers 128-96. It's funny. I bet in this game last night or yesterday afternoon, Jaylen Brown to go over his assists. And the reason why I did that was because I talked to a Celtics reporter before the game. And with Embiid being back, we were going over, how Boston was going to play it offensively. And the way he was explaining it to me made total sense. He's like, well, Jaylen Brown's going to be ball dominant, right? Expect to see more high pick and rolls to lure Embiid out of the middle. And you're also going to see a lot of dribble, drive, penetration from, the guards from Jaylen Brown, but kickouts for 3-pointers, right? So I'm like, that game script looks perfect, right? So I bet Jaylen Brown to go over 4.5 assists. Dude had 1 assist in the game. The play was Jason Tatum over assists because Tatum had 11 assists in yesterday's game. So the game script was correct, except it was Tatum who was racking up the assists. Also, I don't think anybody saw Peyton Pritchard having 32 points yesterday, going 6 of 12 from 3-point range. I mean, what a first half. He had 18 points in the first half. It was unreal.
And that's the thing. Embiid comes back and they're kind of reinventing the wheel. This Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown duo has been a duo for damn near a decade. And in the finals run back in 2022, or when they finally won it versus the Mavericks, Jason Tatum was always much more the pseudo point guard, which is why I thought it was overstated that this was going to be some sort of clash. Jaylen Brown is perfectly suited to be a slash guy, to be a guy that attacks his as his first action whenever he gets the ball. So the fact that Jason Tatum seamlessly has kind of regained at least 1A or 1B status is not surprising with just how long they've done it together.
Victor Wembanyama returned to the Spurs as they come from 17 points down at the half to beat the Blazers 114-93. Mackenzie, they outscored the Blazers in the second half. Get this, 73-35. 73-35 in the second half. The Spurs outscored the Blazers. San Antonio leads 3-1. This series is over.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama plus 28 in 33 minutes. Essentially, every second he's on the court or minute he's on the court, it's +1, 7 blocks. Yes, the series is over. I thought if it was 2-2, it wouldn't be much of a series regardless. But I'm starting to think that this is the championship squad right here. I'm starting to think the Spurs can do it. De'Aaron Fox, probably the best player on the court in Game 4. This could be his moment. He's a kind of the right age to have his best season in the NBA just before 30.
They look good. They got a big win without him. You thought maybe, okay, the way that they played in the first half, it didn't look good, obviously, with him returning, but they clearly figured it out in the second half as they absolutely embarrassed the Blazers. And then the Raptors upset the Cavs to even up the series at 2 games apiece. James Harden with 7 turnovers, Mackenzie, in that game yesterday.
It's happening. It's happening. This is like Scary Movie 8. We've seen it before. I think the Cavs get by this. I mean, just look at the I talked about how Brandon Ingram wasn't scoring that much for the Raptors and RJ Barrett. In this game, the fact that they won despite the fact that they needed RJ Barrett to shoot 22 times, Scotty Barnes 6 for 15. The Cavs' issues are probably more telling for the second round where they get bounced, but I still think they get it done here.
All right, let's take a look at the lines for today's games or tonight's games. Pistons at the Magic with Orlando leading that series 2-1. And up on FanDuel right now, it is the Pistons 2.5-point favorites, total of 214.5, Mackenzie.
214 is low. I don't think it's low enough. I think this is kind of a throw everything at the kitchen sink game. And if the refs, as they've done throughout the playoffs, to be fair, but especially in a game like this, I think they let the Pistons hit them a little bit. And maybe the Magic are just better or good enough to not be home dogs here, but I like the under.
Okay. Elsewhere tonight, you have the Thunder at the Suns as OKC looks to complete the 4-game sweep. OKC is laying 11.5. Is this a case where, like the Rockets, the Suns pick up a win, or do the Thunder just take care of business and end this in 4?
I think the reason why the Rockets won their game when they were down 0-3 is because there is some glimmer of hope that Kevin Durant comes back. They were favored to win the series to start with. They can come back and make this a series again. When you're a big dog in this situation and you arguably don't have that glimmer of hope, as the Phoenix Suns don't, history says you kind of say 1-2-3 Cancun. 1 in 15 teams in this spot that the Suns are in historically, that's straight up 3 and 13 ATS, losing by 8 points per game. So teams in the Suns situation tend to roll over, and I think the Suns more than most allow teams to roll over the way they play.
Okay, let's take a look now at the very intriguing, controversial, damning, I don't know whether adjective to call it, series between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, where Minnesota leads 3-1. It's clear that Nikola Jokic is a shell of what he was before the injury. His efficiency, game 1 was okay, but Mackenzie, in 3 games since, he has gone 8 of 22, 7 of 26, and 8 of 20 from the field. He's putting up the accounting stats, so people are like, yay, he keeps getting, triple doubles or double doubles or whatever, 15 rebounds, 27 points. His efficiency is pathetic. And for him to, here's the funny thing. He runs after what's his face after the game, right? He took exception to he took exception to McDaniels like having the layup at the end of the game. Jokic ran faster to confront McDaniels than he ran in the entire second half of that game against Minnesota when they barely scored what they scored, 42 points in the second half. I've said this on multiple shows now already, and I have the same stance. It's the same thing to me as like when somebody gets, upset about getting hit by a pitch, right? A guy throws at you or whatever, listen, if you don't like it, don't lose. Don't play pathetic basketball and be outscored and dominated by a team without 2 starters, one being one of the best players in the league in Anthony Edwards. You cannot get beat as badly as they did in the second half and then earn the right to get frustrated because somebody takes a layup at the buzzer. Like, get off. That's just so soft for Jokic. That being said, like, people are talking about, well, with Anthony Edwards injured, then this is the Nuggets. They can come back and win this series. Okay, maybe they win tonight because it's a great bounce back spot for them. They're 11.5-point favorites. It makes sense. I can't bet them to win this series. They have looked terrible in this postseason. And I tweeted this out on Saturday night. They fired Mike Malone for this. They fired Mike Malone for this performance in the playoffs. This was supposed to be a Denver team that was going to threaten the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference. They can't even get by the Timberwolves and Oyo DeSunmo. This team is not a championship contender.
It could be that the Timberwolves are some sort of kryptonite for them. It's going to be looking like, 60% chance. 2 of the last 4 years they were knocked out by the Timberwolves in the quote-unquote Jokic era. So maybe Gobert, one of the greats all time, statistically, awards-wise, defensively, is just the perfect team for them. But you're not a championship contender if you're so easily foiled by a particular playing style. I think Jokic bounces back. I think he has a big game and they win. But I don't think they cover 10.5. I think it wasn't Anthony Edwards that made this a competitive series. I think this is a good matchup for them. So yeah, if the Nuggets win this one, they're going to be slight favorites to win the series. So it's definitely not over. But I think plus 10.5 is way too much here.
And what's amazing is, despite the fact that Minnesota is up 3-1, they are only minus 158 on FanDuel to win this series.
Yeah.
I mean,
I did the math. So, I mean, you give them 80%, 85% to win game 5, the Nuggets. Then they're going to be favored in game 6, maybe 60%. And then another 85%. They're dogs, but not big dogs. The number is about what that would say.
Mackenzie, there have been 298 NBA playoff series with a 3-1 lead. Only 13 times has the team down 3-1 come back to win.
How many of those teams had Nikola Jokic? I think 2.
2 of them. It was in the same year in 2020.
Yeah, it was a very different year. No home and home, but
yes.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either. I think maybe your best bet might actually be to do the Minnesota Timberwolves minus 158 to win this series.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $250 in bonus bets just for getting started. And when every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props and your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up, FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips, so you can check stats, trends, and matchups all in one place and make your picks with confidence. It's everything you need all in one app. So don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/Believe. That's BLEAV to get started. FanDuel, play your game. 21 plus, select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus, DC, Kentucky, Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org and call 800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867 in Louisiana.
Stanley Cup playoff action last night. Some controversy as the Ducks in overtime defeat the Oilers 4-3 to take a 3-1 series lead. So let's give credit to Anaheim for rallying down 2-0 at the end of the first period. They tie it up with 2 unanswered goals in the second period. The two teams trade goals in the third period. So the Ducks' comeback effort was incredible. The game-winning goal, well, let me just say this. I think it was a goal, okay? I think it was a goal. But you can't call it a goal on the ice. And that's the problem, okay? Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my Twitter page, @ScottsOnAir. I retweeted the video from Sportsnet Canada. There was a wraparound attempt that the puck slips through Tristan Jarry, who was in net for the Oilers. Or it wasn't a wraparound attempt. It was just a shot from an off angle. And the puck's underneath his pads and his skate, Mackenzie. It looks... Now, it was a goal, okay? The puck did, in my opinion, cross the line completely.
That's the goal, Scott. That's the definition of a
However,
goal.
however, this is a case where the on ice call has to stand and not be confirmed because the goaltender's skate was covering the portion of the puck that you need to see. Did it completely cross the red line or not? And you can't see if the puck is touching the red line because of his skate covering it. If this play was called no goal on the ice and then reviewed, I think that no goal call is upheld. What bothers me about this play is if you watch the replay and you go look at my tweet from last night, there's no official behind the net. The referee is not behind the net. The referee is off to the side, and he makes the call from the side, not behind the net where a ref should be standing to make a goal line call. I think it is a terrible, terrible mistake to assume that it's a goal and then review it. I think you have to, it's kind of like we talk about in the NFL, right? Where it's like, hey, every turnover is reviewed, right? Every scoring play is reviewed. Don't call the runner down by contact. Let the guy pick up the fumble and run it back and then review it, right? And you could always correct it and get it right, but you don't want to take away something. I think in this case, it's overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You call it no goal and you review it. And if it's a goal, congratulations, the Ducks win. But you don't make somebody lose a game because of your questionable decision when you weren't in position to make that call. And that's what that on-ice official did last night, because I get it. The on-ice play had to stand as called.
But if you did call it a no goal and then reviewed it, wouldn't it still be a goal? Are you saying you're not sure about
No,
that?
because there was no definitive evidence. You can't see whether or not.
Still underneath his skate.
Exactly. You cannot see that the puck crossed the line completely. You can see that half the puck is crossed the red line, but in hockey, it needs to be completely crossed the red line. But you cannot see that. But when you review something, just like we talk about in all sports, in football and baseball, it has to be inconclusive evidence.
So how much money did you lose on the call?
Well, I had I didn't have a winner in the game. I had Edmonton over 3.5 of their team total, so I still would have needed Edmonton to score a fourth goal anyway.
But you would have been in it.
But it's a moot point. My argument here is that you can't just call it a goal and then make that call stand. In order for, like, this is the playoffs. This isn't a regular season game. You need to be 100% sure that that the puck goes in order to lose a game for somebody.
Why don't
I
they
don't know.
Put a chip in the puck.
Well, that too. You could do that too. But look, again, it seems to me that the puck crossed the line. I don't know though for 100%. My biggest issue is that you cannot call it a goal to begin with. If they called that no goal, Mackenzie, and then reviewed it and they were like, yeah, it pretty much looks like it crossed the line, and they called it a goal on review, there's no argument and nobody has an issue with what happened last night. But because they called it a goal on the ice and it was not conclusive, and that's how like a team loses and is down 3-1 in the playoffs now, that's unreal. There was a crazy stat though prior to last night's game. Under their current coach, Chris Knobloch, the Edmonton Oilers were undefeated 6-0 when they were down 2-1 in the playoffs. And
I always like Knobloch for his speed. Get on first base.
But he did get the yips that one year. Elsewhere yesterday, Sabres blow out the Bruins 6-1. They take a 3-1 series lead. Avalanche finish off the sweep of the Kings 5-1. Lightning with a 3-2 win over the Canadiens to even up that series at 2 games apiece. Tonight, the Flyers will look to finish off the Penguins as they lead 3-1. Pittsburgh avoiding the sweep in Game 4. Penguins on home ice -135 favorites tonight up on FanDuel to try and make it a 3-2 series. And the Golden Knights will look to even up their series in Utah against the Mammoth, currently up on FanDuel. It's kind of juiced both ways, VGK -115, Utah -105. So this one's going to be close, depending on the money that gets wagered later on here today. So that is your playoff action for the NHL and the NBA. Major League Baseball, Mackenzie, there was a series in Mexico City between the Padres and the Diamondbacks where Game 1, the total was 16. because, elevation, altitude, all that fun stuff. And we bet the under, and it went under 6-4. The Diamondbacks won. I mean, the Padres won. But then yesterday, the total gets pushed down to 15.5. That's where we bet it. It closed at 14, and it went way over with a 12-7 win by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, I am not going to claim some funky business here from Major League Baseball. By the way, there were 10 runs scored in the 7th and 8th inning. Arizona scored 10 runs in the 7th and 8th innings. 6 runs in the 7th, 4 runs in the 8th. Okay, Mackenzie, now we talk about the elevation and the ball's going to fly out of the ballpark, right? Well, what if I told you that the Padres and the Diamondbacks rank 22nd and 25th in Major League Baseball in home runs? And what if I told you that there was only 3 home runs hit in the first game of the Mexico City series that went under? But then in game number 2, there was 6 home runs hit.
Well, did they bounce the balls before the game to make sure that they had the right amount of juice in them?
I'm not saying, I'm just saying give the fans a little something. It just seems so convenient that one team won the first game, the other team won the second game. One game went under, the other game goes over.
You got to tune in for the rubber match.
By the way, that has happened in all 3 Mexico City series now, where both games split, one over and one under. The Padres now fly home from Mexico City to host the Chicago Cubs today. I was thinking about
Sunday night fade. Is this a Sunday night fade? Does this count?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm thinking about the fade here only because not only are they traveling from Mexico City, where they're coming down from the elevation and all that stuff, right? But also their bullpen got entirely rocked last night. I mean, 4 relievers gave up, what was it? 8 runs? No, 10 runs. 4 relievers gave up 10 runs last night. I get it. They didn't have to use, they didn't have to use Mason Miller or like their best relievers.
How much do you think the travel spot is in the line? Because, I mean, this would be like the most of the year, I would think, as far as one single travel spot line.
Yeah, I mean, Cubs are minus 118 on the road tonight, so it's definitely baked in.
Yeah, the Padres, I don't know, they haven't been as good at home.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's baked in enough. Although they say tequila is a very clean alcohol, you bounce back. I'm not sure.
I did look at the results from the previous Mexico City series, and 2 years ago in 2024, both teams that played had the next day off. But 3 years ago in 2023, the Padres actually flew home with no day off and got a win 8-3 over the Reds. The Giants flew home with no day off, or they flew to Houston with no day off, and they lost 7-3.
So
over
2 overs, yeah,
Two
yeah.
overs?
That's what I was thinking. That was my first thought. Yeah,
Over, okay. Over total is 8 tonight between the Cubs and the Padres.
Way over. Get out of here.
Way over. NFL draft in the rearview mirror, Mackenzie, where we talked about it on Friday's show. We like the unders with Fernando Mendoza passing yardage, the under with Jeremiah Love rushing yardage. Are you still under the feeling, and I am, that it is going to be Kirk Cousins in week 1 for the Raiders? There was an offshore sports book that did post starting quarterback week 1 odds, and Kirk Cousins is the favorite over Fernando Mendoza to start.
Don't tell me the odds yet. Thank you. I thought Kirk Cousins would be the favorite. I think it should be a significant favorite. I think, there is no more famous story of a guy sitting his first year than Tom Brady, except for maybe Patrick Mahomes. So I think they would love to do that. I'd say he's minus 500, Kirk Cousins. I'd go that high.
That is a crazy line set by you. I mean, what?
Well, I'm guessing it's 80%. What does the market tell me? I know it's between 50 and 100. I guessed 80.
Minus 156, Mackenzie.
For week 1.
For week 1.
I would make him minus 156 maybe to have more starts on the season. I think that'll be close. I think he'll catch up much like Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. But I think Kirk Cousins is much better than Jacoby Brissett. And I think Drake May was maybe a better prospect than Mendoza year 1. I don't know. I would lay it. I would lay that minus 150 if you have that account.
I mean, I agree.
But I would also tell people, if you have that account, what are you doing? Go to your sports book and pay some
Yes,
tax revenue.
yes,
while
of
you're
course.
gambling.
Of
You're a
course.
responsible citizen.
I do think that is a FanDuel book, though. Maybe it's state dependent, though.
Oh,
State
okay.
dependent, or maybe country dependent. FanDuel Canada has some different odds out that
Sure.
other sports books as well. But yeah, minus 156 on Cousins to be the starting quarterback in Week 1. What'd you think of the draft as a whole? Any storylines that you're interested in?
I'm kind of interested in Diego Pavia, Tony Romo, Kurt Warner, famously not drafted. I mean, I figured, just to have him on, just to like have that publicity bump, but I guess he is just disliked. So maybe he has a chip on his shoulder. We were talking about Johnny Manziel pre-production. It's like, yeah, Johnny Manziel didn't make it, but he also thought he was like the second coming of Jesus and it was the number one pick. But if he would have had the motivation of being snubbed, maybe Johnny Manziel's story turns out a lot differently. I would also say if you're interested in football cards and player cards, this Uar Bernard guy, very Myles Garrett-y in his combine. Obviously, he's never played a snap of football, but there's that Eagles guy, right? That never played a snap of football. I think the upside, if you're buying players' stock, is very high for a 7th round pick here.
Okay, you heard it there from Mackenzie Rivers. By the way,
Right.
Diego Pavia, first Heisman finalist to not get drafted since Northern Illinois quarterback Jordan Lynch. Didn't he wind up playing a couple of games for the Broncos, Jordan Lynch?
Illinois has a great history of quarterbacks.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah. The Wolfpack.
Or yeah, there you have
I
it.
mean, I'm
Mackenzie.
just saying Illinois, the state. You got Tony
Yeah.
Romo.
No, and I don't think Jordan Lynch ever played anything. So there you have it. All right, that'll wrap up this episode. We got some news to talk about this week for the website, for the podcast, for the newsletters, all that stuff. So you want to make sure that you are locked in here. We appreciate all the new members who have joined us, and we look forward to continuing to cash. The MLB Game Center has been just rocking with the prop selections, going to undergo some, I'm going to do a little audit here this week. Going to kind of test some of our ballpark factors with our weather metrics to see if I can kind of fine tune some things, because the player props have been great. The game final score projections have been a little bit. I'm not 100% sold on them. I like them. Some of them have been great. When we identify false favorites, those teams, those underdogs tend to win, or at least make it close. So, but I am going to take a look I want to update some of the park factors and weather is what I want to take a look at here. So look for that update with the Game Center. The NBA Game Center continues to deliver throughout the NBA playoffs. And of course, we'll have more announcements coming here throughout the course of the week. Don't forget to follow us across all your social media platforms, on YouTube as well. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.